there are other reasons for it, but that's the main reason.
This sketch is shown as Exhibit B, doesn't show any drive behind these buildings.
That's correct. They're just planned buildings. They're just shown as
Conceptual.
we just laid out some stuff on there because we don't really have any other than the dentist that's actually set up to start construction out there. He does have an office that's been approved, but the other offices are just conceptual.
Is one of these buildings shown here the dental clinic?
It is. It's the first one.
The first one closest to
To Gluckstadt Road. Yes, sir.
Is there access behind it now?
Well, not yet. They're trying to. They want to put a service walk back there to get to the air conditioning units, but they can't do it because we're too close to the buffer. And so the intent is to come back and put a sidewalk back to the air conditioning units and to a rear access door.
Well, is that building built off the street like you're requesting for the others?
It is. That's actually where they're going to be, the 13 feet, actually 25 feet from the street. We're 27 feet curb to curb with 12 feet of easement right-of-way space. So the buildings would actually be 25 feet from the curb, and in this instance, we're asking to match what the dentist is doing for the rest of our property, just on that Mansdale Drive. Just the office locations. The other retail stuff conforms.
Have the Mansdale folks approved this request, this variance?
Mr. McKay,
Yes.
they have not, and Scott and I talked about that. We have an extremely unique situation with this particular.
I know, yeah.
Right. Their meeting is, well, obviously our meeting is normally the second Thursday of the month.
Right.
Their meeting is normally the second
Hey,
Monday of the month. So that will fall this coming Monday night.
Which we plan to meet, to go before their
Yes.
group.
I think Mr. Kress actually asked them for a special call meeting prior to this meeting, and they couldn't get a quorum.
Could get, okay.
That's right.
So I told Scott that, there's no need to be penal because of calendars and holidays and all that, so we could review it today,
We can do a conditional approval.
approve it, conditioned on the certificate of appropriateness from MLHPD. And Mr. Kress has dealt with MLHPD enough.
I spoke with them
that.
this
Yeah.
morning. That we are going to have the meeting next week, so my hope was we could have a conditional approval based on their approval.
Does the dentist's office conform with the existing setback
He does not.
and that
But
construction?
he hasn't built he's just simply cleared his pad and,
Okay, so no construction
no,
has started.
well, just started. And so
building
he's,
there, okay.
he's just gotten started. His building is not there yet.
Okay, that's,
Okay.
I didn't know, I
Mr.
thought you said
President.
he already had a
Yes.
clinic there.
Mr. President, Planning
Yes.
Commission members, this was a unusual situation. They presented a site plan, had the setbacks and everything. We reviewed it. Mansdale Livingston reviewed it, went to the board, approved. This is actually deemed a corner lot, is where a lot of this fell in. So it's just a multitude of things happened that the side setback is 2/3 of the front. So that throws everything off in there. You have no drainage in the back. You have drainage issues. I think the actual site plan we got, the distances we had were from the back of the curb, unbeknownst to us. And it had the proper setbacks at that time, but, once we started looking at it and they got ready to construct this, a bunch of red flags popped up. We're like, let's
So,
take this route.
right.
Oh, what webs we weave. Okay. That all clear?
Conditional.
Yeah, I'd recommend approval based on, with a condition that MLHP approves the setback change. I don't see it being detrimental to the,
Turn that into a motion and I'll second it.
It's been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Ayes have it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Mr. Miller, that was approval of Stribling Lake, conditional upon MLHPD approving it? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. President, I failed to put closed public hearing on the agenda.
Yeah. And I'm operating over here. At this time, we move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. So it is. This time, site plans. Glustat Park.
Good morning. I'm Daniel Woolridge.
Well, Daniel,
The Gluckstadt Park Phase 3, because everybody's probably seen building number 1 is up. They're getting ready to put brick on it as soon as we can get brick delivered to the site. Building number 2 is fully leased, so he's ready for building number 3, which gives us a total of 30,000 square feet on the site. We look at the parking for retail, requires us to have about 137 parking spaces. We have a total on the site of 201 parking spaces. So allows us a little bit of flexibility with our leasing. Building number 3 will look exactly like building number 1 and building number 2.
Is there any questions?
I had a question. Jane, it looked like some of these islands you got drawn on here extend out past the parking.
Well, the parking, between the drive aisle is 26 feet. When the island, in between islands, I stick it out just a little bit to kind of protect the end of the car when they're coming around an island. So usually about a foot more, so there's usually about 24 feet on that drive in that area. But it's not behind a parking space usually. Does that help?
Not really. The further them things extend out, especially that parking space that's next to the island, hard to get into if the island sticks out too far into what would be the travel way. People can dodge the back of a car, but when you go to turn in a space next to an island, for me it takes about 14 maneuvers to get my truck around into that parking space.
I understand.
Because you always run over the curb. So that's just a pet peeve. It's like the parking spaces being 10 foot by 18 feet, which you've done. Anyway, that's just a note between you, a consideration. It's not a failure. It's just a consideration. I think so. The only other thing I would request that you have them paint the back of that tall parapet to match the brick, so it doesn't, from a distance, it doesn't look so
It doesn't stick out.
stand out. Yeah,
Okay. I'll bring that up.
drawing is kind of hard to make a distinction on that on it. If it blended more with the brick that is above from the rear, can you do that?
Yes, sir.
Are these going to be painted brick?
Yes, sir.
Painted
They will be
masonry.
painted brick.
Okay. All right. With those considerations, I'd approve, make a motion that we approve their site plan.
Second.
Been moving properly second, that it be approved with those conditions. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Aye.
So it is.
Mr. Miller, that was approval of Gluckstadt Park Phase 3. Thank you.
Tate Office Warehouse.
That's me also.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You still here?
Tate Office Warehouse, we're talking about two warehouse buildings on Kimball Drive. That's, if you're familiar with, there in the Gluckstadt area where Renfro, Home Decorative building's at. That's Kimball Drive, so if you go down the end of it to the cul-de-sac that's at the very end, this is the site we're talking about. We've got two office warehouse buildings we want to place on that site. Again, you know, if you're looking at the parking, we exceed the parking requirements. Total parking requirements should be around 33, and we got 53. So we exceed that. This is a office warehouse building, so we will have garage doors on the front of the building. Elevations show the garage doors on the front. The building is brick across the front. We're going to turn the brick down the sides to a certain point, and then from there we'll pick up with a metal, and the back will be a metal, which is normal in that neighborhood, consistent with other buildings that are in that area.
Yes.
We'll be using the same color brick that we have on Renfro. We'll try to keep that a constant on that Kimball Street with other projects we got coming in the future.
You got more coming on Kimball Drive?
We do.
You can make them all look alike?
They're going to be similar, very similar. Like I said, we'll try to use the same color brick.
Okay. I have a question regarding your trash bin. That looks like it's curbed on both sides with a sidewalk in front of it. How are trucks gonna get to trash bins if they have to be dumped?
Well, the truck's going to have to come around through the parking lot in front of the smaller building, come around to line up with the trash bins. Once it's dumped, then it can back up and then go back out.
Don't you
That's
show
straight.
curbs on both sides of that?
There's curbs on both sides, yes, sir.
Well, how are they gonna get to the trash bins? Over the curb?
Oh, no, you're not looking at curbs. I'm sorry, the curb does not go across there. That gutter area, there's a curb and gutter. The curb itself does not run across there.
Yeah, with the checkerboard
The
looking.
checkerboard area is indicating where the thicker concrete's at.
Okay, so.
But it does have that gutter system that runs across,
Now,
so the curb
would
does
you
not.
anticipate these trash bins being picked up by the truck and dumped?
Yes,
Is there enough room in there to maneuver that?
yes, sir.
Okay. All right, that was my question. I figured that was concrete, but where
It
it's
is,
scored,
it
I
is
thought
kind,
was
we just,
probably
we
sidewalk.
scored it to,
Okay.
keep people from parking on it and to just indicate where the thicker concrete would be.
Okay. Good explanation.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion.
I'd move we approve then.
Second.
Been moving properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. So it is.
Thank you.
Madison Fireplace.
That was the approval of the Tate office building.
Good morning.
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 Tommy Stallings, my son Tommy. Morning. We're here to try to get a new warehouse built on our property in Gluckstadt, right next to Camper Corral in that area, right up there. We've outgrown our old warehouse and we want to put a new one in. And it's going to be a metal building. Majestic Metals has designed it for us. It's going to have a fancy brick facade entrance on the, I guess that would be the east side of the building. It's sort of like a old German-style chalet cover that comes out from the building. Kind of go with the, the German theme, Ingolstadt. And we'd like to get y'all's approval to go ahead and approve the site plan so we can try to get this thing going before the weather turns bad.
All the drainage in this area, does it go to that pond?
It goes toward the pond. The county came in 2 years ago and redid we allowed them to come across our property, build a drainage ditch for that whole area out there, go down the side of the property out toward the interstate, going back toward Bear Creek, back there.
Because that's what's shown on this drawing, this way. I just wondered if all this property up here drained toward that pond, or was it go
It does drain toward that pond back there.
toward the pond? This is no contours on the map.
The pond was created back in 2005 when we built our other building. We used the dirt from back there for the pad on that building up there.
I got you.
So it's a kind of like a catches the water, holds it, and then lets it go out.
Mr. Stallings, is that pond on your property?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you going to use that as a detention?
That's correct.
Okay, that would have to be taken up with the county engineer when that time comes for the hydraulic.
It's 7.39 acres of the entire site.
Is this an additional building?
Sir?
Is this an additional building?
Yes, sir. I currently have 2 buildings up there. This is a new building.
Are you paving a street back there to this?
I will,
Is
yes,
it-
sir. It's currently,
Like it's shown
it's
in the
currently a gravel road that's been there for about 20 years. But once all the concrete trucks and all that have torn everything up, we're gonna go in and make an asphalt drive back there.
Okay, no problem. You got access, that's the main thing. I had a question that's, on your plan, it shows a cul-de-sac there in front of the building, but yet the other drawing shows that's all concrete paving, concrete parking lot. What is it?
It's gonna be concrete.
Okay, so,
I've got the one with that little cul-de-sac, that was drawn by the landscape man, that was just an initial thing to
okay,
try to decide where we're gonna put landscaping and all that. We're gonna have,
so this.
a rose garden in front of the building, and
All right, okay. I was just curious because the two drawings conflict.
yes, sir.
Okay,
It's going to be all concrete around the building because
right.
the main purpose of the building is we're making our own patio furniture now. We're importing in from Vietnam and Indonesia and places like that. And, it comes in on containers and then you have to drive back there and back in so we can offload in there. And we'll have an area in there where we assemble the furniture. Comes broken down, we have to put it together.
You don't show any waste bins, trash bin, trash pickup, do you have a?
If you look on the,
plans for that, I assume?
well, it came to me when I was listening to the other gentleman talk just a few minutes ago, that I had left that off of the picture there.
Okay,
That
that'll have
where
to-
on the north side of the building, where the 2 garage doors are,
with
that it would be at the end of that little
dock area there?
little dock area right there. It would be right there on the end of it where the truck can just come in and pick it up and leave.
Okay, you'll end up having need to show that on your plans
Yes, sir.
for
Yes, sir.
future construction. All right.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I move we accept the site plan with the condition that they add the waste bins on the future submissions of when it gets to that point.
Yes, sir.
No, one additional comment,
Mhm.
please. You're showing parking is 9 foot 5 inch, it's 9.5 feet, not 9 foot 5 inches. 9.5 feet, in other words. Just 1 inch
You're an
variance
inch off.
there.
You're an inch shy of
You're
where
an
you need
inch,
to be.
you make that, you make that note.
Yes, sir.
A stickler. Okay.
I think I got
Add
that.
that, add that to my motion, please, that the parking spaces move to 9 feet, 6 inches.
Not that you don't have the room for it, but
We'll try to squeeze it down.
slip.
There'll probably be at least 2 cars parked there most of the time.
Yeah. I just happened to see the 9 foot 5 inches.
I understand.
Oh, they missed, that's 9.5 feet, not 9. All
sir.
right,
Is there a second on that?
I second that motion.
All right. It's been moving properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have
Aye.
it. So it is.
Mr. Miller, that was Madison Fireplace and Patio site plan.
Motion to accept October's meeting. Is it the 14th?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
7th? First week?
We have a flea market.
Okay.
coming up, So,
Oh, geez.
yes, the first week. That way we can still fall in line with the right board meetings. Because if we put it, further past
okay.
and put it the third week, then that throws people off into the next month for the board meetings.
Okay.
So what's the date?
The 7th of October?
7th would be the first Thursday in October.
First Thursday, okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Ayes have it, so it is. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I move adjourn. Short, and sweet.
Mr. Miller,
It's tough.
we're gonna see you on the